Hello, welcome back to another episode of Airsoft, podcasts, that kind of stuff. I would go over housekeeping, but pretty much already did in that last few podcasts. If you don't know what it is, feel free to go back the previous 2 episodes, or 3, depending on which one you come to. I also want to add on top that I've been Twitch streaming a lot more, so if you want to come by, say hi and stuff like that, my Twitch stream is literally the same as my YouTube name, except the only difference is it's all lowercase letters, and there's no A in Walker. So if you want to come in and say hi, feel free to do that. Alright, so I'm also going to leave it in the description for you guys to come and copy and paste for Twitch. Anyways, so today's topic we're going to talk about, because I've also been seeing this whole thing. By the time this is uploaded, it's going to be the 12th, which is already no for the bill either being passed or vetoing, basically saying that you need a certificate for every airsoft gun you own. And that also goes with paintball and even Nerf guns. It's so stupid. Why? Nerf guns are harmless. Anyways, so we're going to show the difference between realism and fake toys that mimic a real firearm. So I'm holding a fake one. We got Alec and Dirt, who are also, they have their fake ones. That's his new one, by the way. And then there's his fake Glock. So he's running a gas, oh, you're over here. Dirt's over here. So he's running a fake Glock. It mimics like a real one. It's got the slide pull and everything, and if you can tell, like, it's got the whole slide release. But if you go ahead and pull the inner barrel up to the camera, show the inner barrel.
Let me turn off my blur just to make things
yeah, do that. And then we'll go down to Alec in a moment. So if, as you could tell, there's the whole trigger system and everything, and yeah, it replicates a real one, and it can look like a real one. And then go ahead and show the front for the inner barrel. But as you could tell, there's a little difference on the inner barrel. On the inside, you see another barrel, circular thing. If you need to pause the video to see it, you can. He's trying to hold it as steady as he can, but you can see that there's another barrel inside that barrel. That is for the BB and only for the BB to pass through. You cannot necessarily use a live round to go through that, let alone the rear end of the pin push for a airsoft pistol is different from a live firearm. It's for a live firearm they use steel, for airsoft that uses a nozzle. Yeah, that's that piece that he's holding in his, the smaller piece that he's holding in his one hand, that is the inner barrel. And then down below we have Adi with his AK-12. That's his newest one that he got. So he still has the orange tip on his. A lot of guns that are airsoft based come with an orange tip at all times. And depending on your state and where you're from, you can remove that orange tip, like I so did with mine. And even so, if he points his to the camera as well, it also has an inner ring barrel. It's kind of hard to see with his, but you can see the diameter is a little bit small, even on that inside. Now, you can see also, it looks real, it can replicate real, everything about it seems real. However, to notice the difference, when he pulls that slide back, there's no internals that make it look real. That right there.
You can also see a battery inside of it.
It's all got different parts. Like any kind of AEG will always have that. And not only that, the mags too have a little nub on top, even with mine, and mine are gas blowback. Even with mine being gas blowback, this sunlight's very hard to get. The light is very hard to get for this. Even this being gas blowback, you can tell it's completely different, and it does not hold live rounds. Now going to mine. Now mine is supposed to represent an entire real one because it is gas blowback. The thing it does is it racks like a real one and it pulls up for like a real one. The only difference is this right here. This is what is the whole thing. It's the throw bolt basically that goes back to chamber the next BB. As for a live round, it would only use the mag itself to push back up to chamber through the next one, along with the little mechanism to kind of help push it.
I don't want to interrupt, but my buddy Jared, the one who I was just on the phone with, would like to join to chat about everything as well.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
He's the G-Door 63.
Yeah, bring him in. Put him.
He needs the rolls.
Oh,
I can't add his rolls.
You can't add his rolls. Hold on, let me do that real quick.
Everybody. I don't want to stop our chat, but
hold.
Our chat.
Okay, he's in here. Let me add him to. Rolls. Here we go. I'm putting him in as main podcast right now, and then I'll switch him over to guest.
Sure. Whatever works.
Yep. All right. Tell him to hop on in. But at the same time too, like even then, like as you could tell, I changed my muzzle to a little replica flash one, but it's still. I'm gonna try to get lighting on this. But it's still got that small inner barrel piece that sits further back, which I can actually, let me remove this. Get this nice and removed. Almost done. Anyways, but you see that golden ring, silvery looking ring, that is for the inner barrel. So this can only take in BBs. That is it. It cannot take in a live round. Now, to see actual firearms, for example, Dirtman's Glock. Now that is a real Glock. That one holds live rounds. Go ahead and pull the magazine up close for your Glock. So, as you can tell, the pistol mags for airsoft versus live rounds is that one is for bigger rounds that are lengthwise rather than a small ball, let alone it has black powder and a primer. Primer gets struck, lights up the black powder, shoots the bullet out, and boom, there you go. It also has a loud boom. That's also what I call the forbidden airsoft gun, or the Cheater Ender 3000. So that is a live round. And not only that, go ahead and pull your handgun back up. Show the inner barrel. You see how thick that is? How open that is? That's for a live round. So there you go. Now,
you can also see the light coming down at the end of it. It's not as easy to see in an
airsoft gun. Yep. And then we got Alex AK. Now this is a real AK. This is a real steel rifle. It can look like an airsoft one from even with the muzzle in. However, look at the mag. That loads up the Funny Boy 7.62s. And then, not to mention, it also racks very very loudly. There's a very different distinct sound in it. And then there's my forbidden one. Oh yeah, he's taking off his upper. Yep, there you go. There you go. There you go. Nice live demonstration of everything. And then you got me with my... Now, kids, I do bring this to the airsoft field, but I do not use it, and I put it away to make sure that nobody gets harmed with it, because I also know the difference between my airsoft guns and my real one. This is a Glock 41 Gen 4. This shoots 45 rounds. However, I always keep one in the chamber because we all know I ride a motorcycle and I hate people who try to hit me. These are big boy rounds. These are actually bigger than Dirtman's 9mm. Will it hurt the same? Not so much. Mine makes the soul leave the body. But does it work the same? To a degree, yes. It's still going to stop a threat either way. However, even then, I use an M17 airsoft pistol, and I know the difference between my airsoft pistol and my Glock. Glock and M17, my airsoft one is very different. It's smaller on barrel length, and it's a slightly thinner grip handle. It's thicker than a 9mm grip handle, but smaller than I would say it's actually probably the same grip amount as your Glock 19. That's what I want to say, Dirt. It's as thick as your my M17 grip is as thick as your real steel Glock 19. Oh yes.
But this is a Glock 45 chambered in 9.
Oh.
This is a 45.
And this is a black powder revolver and 36 caliber ball.
Yeah, we carry the fun toys.
This is actual black powder. The stuff you have in
Yep.
modern ammunition is
Yep.
called nitro or smokeless powder.
Yep.
But the cool thing about it is that our laws don't actually consider this a firearm. So the only licensing you need is nothing, and you can order these and have them shipped to your door online. But now we're getting our airsoft guns, which are fake, Nerf guns, which are fake, gel blasters, which are fake, and paintball guns, which are fake, being regulated, and we
With
need
certifications
and certificates like licenses for firearms.
And not to mention, it's for each and every one you own.
Yep. And we don't need that for black powder rifles and revolvers and pistols and stuff like that.
This is literally the ATF version of airsoft. Just pointing that out.
No, it is. No, it is.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind when you're thinking about this.
And you can't really see mine because mine is black as hell. We all know I like my shit to be dark as fuck. But I also keep around in the chamber.
I always keep around in the chamber myself.
Yep. I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Agreed.
And the only time this gun will ever be brandished out in public, meaning unholstered out in public, is if it is a last resort or a life or death situation. That is it. You will not see this be pulled out, unless of course it's a little show and tell. Then that is fine. I will take the mag out and then I will unchamber the round. I will only allow that to happen as long as it's in a safe environment.
It's just we grow up in a day and age where gun culture constantly shunned and not taught to the youth.
Yeah, because
so when people grow up to be adults and stuff who can vote, they vote against the things that they don't understand because they've never.
It's also 18-year-olds who go to vote that don't even know what they're voting for.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
Which, in all honesty, it should be like alcohol age limit. You should be able to vote at 21. Because you have your brain cells a little bit more out there.
However, I think that if you should increase the voting age to 21, then you should only increase the military joining at 21 as well.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I mean, because you don't want kids going out there dying.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, you don't want young people risking their lives in the military and then not getting the same privileges as other civilians.
But you also, and here's the thing too, is like you can drink at 18 in the military as long as it's on base.
Yep.
But the thing is too, keep this in mind. It's easier to manipulate a young mind than it is an older mind. Because the older you get, the more wiser you get. Unless, of course, you're some party fuckbag that hasn't grown up and they are in their 40s and they're always wanting to still party and have no sense of morals or etiquette.
This is true.
It's very specific, Leon. You want to talk about this?
I'm not saying me personally. I don't like to go out and party. I'm not a very big party person. I actually hate people. I hate crowds.
We should acknowledge that this bill came out actually back in late 2019, but was on pause.
No, it came up in May 20th of 2022.
2019 because it was delayed by COVID.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It initially was.
Now let me put it this way. I'm not pissed at the fact that if it gets passed, I gotta get a certificate for it. I can get a certificate for the ones that I'm using. However, what I am pissed about is that they hid it under the rug. That only distributing and manufacturing companies got notion of, who then made it public, and only made it public within a 6-day period.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's sneaky tactics for sure.
Yeah, that is highly illegal. So in reality, that should be getting them in trouble.
On top of the regulations that need to be updated for airsoft in the first place because they're 12 versions behind.
Mm-hmm. Well, because when it first came out, back when even we were kids, like they didn't have a high FPS. It was like 140. The battery powered ones were 140, and the Springers were only 75 FPS. And all they put on a label was wear eye protection when playing with these.
My thing is when I look at this regulation that's going to be in place, it's honestly just another way for the government to come down on civilians who just want to do something sporty and recreational.
Yeah, I mean, UK has done it. Germany has done it. Any of the other side of the country, Canada, the C-21 bill. They did it.
I mean, it's just another way for our government to squeeze more money out of us.
Yep.
And control.
Which is funny because they wouldn't be able to with the ones that we own already. They would only like say it's like $5 for the certificate. However, I have mentioned this. I actually explained this to Sokka last night because he was over at my place. We were getting eating bratwurst last night, and he came out to hang out and stuff because he's off till Monday. Anyways, I was explaining to Sokka to this. I go, the issue that this is going to have now for distributing companies and manufacturer companies is, say for example, Evike is a very big one. For example, Evike's a very big distributing company that's based out in Cali. They have, I think, 3 or 4 locations, which I've been out in Cali and I went to look up the closest one, and they have the closest one for like an hour away from where my girl lived at the time. Now, excuse me. Say it takes a month normal from Evike for your new airsoft gun to come in, right? Because they have to put a package label on it, they have to tape up the box and everything, make sure everything that was included is in the box, and then they gotta go take it to... They have to wait for the truck to come in to come take it and shit like that. It could take a month, right? And then get a month to you during that time. Now, if this bill passes, it's not going to take a month anymore. It's going to take 3 months. Approximately 3 months. Because they want to, what they're trying to do is, oh, you bought it. You bought the certificate to run this. But now, the government itself have to test it to make sure it's also fine. And then send it out to you.
Yeah, break it before they give it to you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's literally no reason for this at all. There's no reason.
There really isn't. It's a toy gun. It is a plastic projectile, non-lethal shooting little toy gun.
How many murders by airsoft has the history of U.S. ever encountered?
And if guns are so much a worry for the U.S., they should look at the ratings for stabbings. They should look at the ratings for random
everything
objects.
Else.
Like, guns aren't the only issue, and on top of that, this is the thing that makes me very pissed off, because I had to explain this. I love giving gun 101 lessons to people that are illiterate as fuck when it comes to firearms, because I've dealt with people who believe, oh, well, the guns can basically get up and go shoot and kill people, and they're kind of
okay. Hold on. Just because, go gun, go.
Right.
Hold on, I got you. Hold on.
Now that you know you're a killer, you need to go out and kill people.
You're loaded.
Go free.
You're loaded. I have you on my counter.
Here you go.
You're on my counter. You're loaded. Go do what I need you to do.
You can go now. You can go kill people.
Oh,
why aren't you moving?
Oh, you're not moving? Oh, you don't have Okay. Anyways, so what pisses me off about that is I have to give them gun 101 lessons. I go, look, I can make this argument all day with you people. And you know what? Your argument on this is invalid as fuck. I go, guns don't kill people. It's the person that's operating the firearm that kills people.
Yeah.
I go,
the gun doesn't have intention.
I go, in the U.S., it's a lot easier to get a gun. As long as you have a clean background, you can get a gun.
Yep.
They don't do psych evals. Why? Because it's also pointless to do a psych eval, because you don't know when that person's going to blow up. I even told him, it's mainly knowing the notion and reading the body language of that person with that firearm. If they're uncomfortable and they're kind of like being a little antsy or fidgety and they're trying to reach for it, or they're sweating a little bit because, and that is not including a hot fucking day, but they're up, you can tell that they're up to something, those are the type of people you want to look out for. When it's somebody like myself or you two that are, you know, casually walking around somewhere just minding our own fucking business, you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
We know what we're doing with it, and we know.
Well, here's the thing: how do you prepare for something like that? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like at a school, what do you have for protection? Just the
Right.
school resource officer, if that.
Right, and the thing is too is like, and this is also what I tell people too that are this whole anti-gun bullshit. Even if they were to ban guns in the U.S., guess what? The criminals are gonna find a way to get it. And let me tell you, there is so many connections that they have, and they don't even have to have also those connections. They can also get it from the dark web.
Because the people who are criminals aren't going to obey the law anyways, so they're going to get the now illegal guns illegally like they have been doing from the start.
Yep, and not only that, there's more guns in the U.S. than the U.S. population itself.
Yeah.
Well, then it's going to get even funnier because then they're going to ban, if that does happen, all U.S. citizens can't get a gun. Then, like we said, the criminals are going to get a gun, and then from there, they're going to go, well, more people are dying. What the heck's going on? I don't know. It's probably because the U.S. citizen, the most common U.S. citizen, can't defend themselves.
Yeah.
And here's another thing. I want there to be a statistic out that specifically shows the difference between mass shootings and crimes committed with firearms that are obtained illegally versus legally.
Legally, yeah.
Exactly. There's probably going to be. It's already like.
Now, what I think they should do, and this is what I told them, is what I think they should do is the fact that they should probably take them through a firearms class if it's their first time purchasing it, and if it's their first time ever owning a firearm. Run them through a firearms test. Make them learn about the gun. Make them learn what to use it for, when to use it, and how to use it.
Well, then you get into the issue of making people do things. You know what I mean? That can be a slippery slope in and of itself. Because what's the line that you draw on how many classes someone has to have before they're qualified? You know what I mean?
It's literally only one class. It's when, at least with sidearms.
Reasonably, but anyone in the government can be like, oh, you need 20 classes to prove to me that you got to pay for each one, and each one has to be government sanctioned.
Well, guess what?
And each one is $2,000 each.
Guess what that means? That's a tax write-off.
Yeah, but who's gonna have $2,000 sitting in their pocket to even use to begin with? You know what I mean?
Right. Well,
even if you can write it off at a later point, are you gonna have $2,000 just lying around that you can just toss at a class? You know what I mean?
I could go work the corner real quick, make some $2,000.
There you go.
No, but the thing is though, is like, you know, if they want to be more strict about it and in a purchasing sense, not so much of a you own it now, we're gonna take it away from you sense, but more of a you're gonna go purchase it. If you're a first time buyer and a first time user of buying it in a way, then yeah, like give them a quick rundown.
I mean, any responsible gun owner who's experienced should already naturally want to do that to any first time user.
Yeah, and
however,
I always tell people, I hate to interrupt you too at the same time. Like when people are telling me like, oh, I want to get a 9, I'm like, don't. And they're like, why? And I go, because 9s, they're good for shooting competitions. They're good for, you know, practicing your shots in and stuff. But if you're also looking for something to do self-defense with, to stop a threat of somebody trying to mug you or get ready to like harm you in any way, and you need something as a last resort, get a 10. It's not as powerful as a 40, 45, and it's not as, and it doesn't hit as soft as a 9.
Move.
I just, setting aside caliber choice and anything like that, I feel like the person should use the caliber of the choice that's most comfortable with them, because people can perform at all different levels.
Right.
However, I feel like you should at least have knowledge of how to operate the firearm you are handling.
Yeah.
Even if it's the most basic knowledge.
Yeah,
and it's up to the duty of the experienced gun owners that surround you in the gun community to take on that responsibility and help manage and direct and guide those who are coming into the community or want to learn more about it. Because right now we have a lot of senators and a lot of U.S. representatives who don't even know the first thing about firearms and are trying to regulate every law-abiding citizen's right to own firearms while they surround themselves with armed security themselves.
Right.
Yep.
And not only that, but to add on top of that too, like the gun community, the gun community, when it comes to different firearms, of somebody's comfortability of it, don't make fun of them for it. Give them knowledge about these firearms, just don't make fun of them about it. If you're gonna make fun of them about it, you're just one of those ones. It's like dealing with the toxic bike person that wants to think that, you know, they came from a car community, and since they got a bike now, they feel the need to be toxic to everybody and be like, oh, my R1's better than your R6. No, it's the comfortability of things. Like for example, Dirtman, he has a 9. He's comfortable with it. I don't give him shit about it. Just like...
Be aware, careful of your
Yeah,
serial number there on the bottom of your handgun there.
What? Oh, it's empty.
No, your serial number being visible to the camera.
Oh, I don't care.
I'm just saying. I've heard... that's up to you, man. I'm just saying, though, like...
This isn't a firearm, so I'm okay.
It's shiny and silver, you can't see it.
No.
The light's reflecting off it, so it's hard to see anyways.
What?
Anyway, yeah.
But anyways, let's like...
I use a 9, and
Yeah,
that's just
and
what I prefer, what I like to use
You're
right
comfortable with it. Yeah, granted, you're going to have to spend a mag and a half on somebody, but, you know, you're comfortable with it. Versus this, I'm comfortable with having a hard-hitting gun. I want your soul to leave your body.
Well, and amongst also, again, it comes, for me, between you and I, 45 is a big caliber for me to try to handle with a handgun.
Yeah, however,
I already struggle with 44 Magnum and...
Oh, Magnum's a different kind of play, though.
The point is the bigger the caliber gets, the more difficult somebody's going to have with handling that type of firearm.
I will say this.
I've got small hands.
I will say this, too. All three of us need to go out and do a range day.
I'm down.
You can bring your
I'm okay
rifle.
with that. I'm not bringing just the rifle. I'm bringing my whole arsenal.
Yeah, obviously. I'll bring my 41. You bring your 9. I'm gonna buy some more boxes of ammo. But anyways, but yeah, no, like, yeah, no, it's all about comfortability. Like that's all it really is. Like, yeah, I've had people that own 9mm that try to tell me that it's better than my gun that shoots 45, my Glock 41, and their only simple answer is, the ammo's cheap. The recoil's easy, like there's no recoil, and it's accurate. Oh, there was something else too.
I don't like to argue caliber.
And then there's like one more thing on top of it. I can't remember off the top of my head because I'm already a few of these in. But those are the type of ones that I fucking hate the most because they're toxic as shit when it comes to this kind of thing. And I've been around firearms my entire life. I've dealt with them also in other kind of fields. And my response to them is, well, let's put this in a hostile situation. You have somebody on drugs or on a high adrenaline rush rushing after you. Guess what that 9's going to do? You're going to be spending a mag and a half just to drop that person because you're too busy aiming center mass. My 45, I just have to do 2 to the chest, 1 to the head, or I can just go straight for the brains. I have enough stopping power and enough punch through to basically say fuck you. 9s, yes, they can go through the skull as well, but that's up to a certain range of closeness. Other than that, if they're a certain distance, it's going to bounce off. It's just going to give them really bad concussion.
So, setting aside caliber, one of the arguments that is just, it doesn't make sense to me when it comes to like firearm arguments and stuff like that is people saying, oh, the founding fathers would have never predicted the AR-15 ever being a rifle in today's day and age. And it's like, okay, think about this. When the founding fathers wrote the Declaration of Independence and set up the amendments,
yeah, the right to bear arms, that meant everything.
Well, here, check this out. At the time, their military and the British military, which were the strongest in the world at the time, guess what rifles they had? They had the same flintlock rifles, black powder rifles that every citizen had. They had cannons. Yep. You could privately own ships as a civilian in the U.S. You could own your own ship and throw cannons on it if you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what the British military had? The same stuff.
Yep.
So to argue that the founding fathers didn't have it in mind to have the civilians be on the same level as the military, then you got yourself all mixed up, because they wrote that Second Amendment as generalized as they could to encompass arms in general, not just specific weapons of any kind, not pistols, not rifles. There's nothing in there. It's all encompassing arms.
Hey, you want to go get a tank?
Yeah.
Hey, let's all put a money together and get a tank.
Let's go get a tank. Let's go get a tank. I'm in a tank and you're not.
we need to call Battlefield Las Vegas and see if they can hook us up.
You know it.
But yeah, so and that's the thing too, is like people tend to forget to do their research history. That is the thing, is they're so delusionally blindsided by whatever fucking social media tells them. That
well, here's the thing too, is they're not teaching this in schools anymore.
Yeah, they're not. And if you remember, they don't. Like, I remember when I was in school, we did not only the Pledge of Allegiance, but we also said the Constitution one.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah, every day too.
Yep. And they're barely bringing back the Pledge of Allegiance in schools. Barely. Like,
whoever wanted that removed to begin with is treasonous.
Well, not only that, but they're a bunch of fucking scumbags too. I mean,
exactly.
And this is another thing that pisses me off too, because like, for example, I don't know if Dirt saw my story, but I posted up my my 45 that was in my concealed carry holster, and I said I only deal in absolute. I've had people be like, "Oh, you like guns, so you're Republican." I'm like,
doesn't work like that.
I'm like, I don't label myself as Republican. In fact, I hate any kind of political party, to be honest, because they're all fucking stupid. They all want one thing or another, and then they fuck everything up.
It's to be in control of America and not lead and guide America.
Yeah, they rather make a money profit off of it rather than just lead it to where it needs to be.
The only thing I care for is what I think is best for myself.
Exactly. Like, once this whole thing goes down to shit, and we either go to war with Mexico or there's a revolutionary war. You heard about the shit that's happening in Mexico, right?
Yeah, we're gonna assist the Mexican government in taking out the cartels. I don't think we're gonna go to war with Mexico.
That's what I mean by going to war with Mexico. Is the cartel. Because they're trying to push themselves over here along with all of the immigrants coming over here. I won't call them illegal because, you know, everybody has a chance. They have that test that they can take and everything.
Yeah, it doesn't make them illegal if they go through the port of entry legally.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes them illegal if they skip the line and jump the border and get here illegally.
Yeah. But it's either going to be a war against them or it's going to be a war against ourselves. And if it's going to be a war against ourselves, all I can say is the people that don't have firearms, that are anti-firearm stuff, be prepared, because there's people
They're the same people who have a bat behind their doors in their bedrooms.
Yeah, there's people like myself that won't care about you.
Yeah, they're just the people that collect the resources for the people who do have guns.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Well, if those ones are the ones that collect the resources, I'm okay with that. I'm talking about the ones that are like the blue-haired bitch Karens and Kevins that are just like, oh, you get burned, you don't want to have that.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, right now, America's like a pendulum, in my opinion. We've had a peaceful time for a long time. We've had a peaceful time for a long time since any great world war or any major conflict. Yes, we've been in wars for a while now, but they haven't been major ones. However,
and the thing is, too, is like for example, Iraq and Afghan, why did we go to war over there for? The supposed 9/11 until they found out that, well, since it's a sand country, it produces oil. Oil brings in money. Money brings in great profit.
I can just think of that stupid SpongeBob meme. Sir, why are we going to war with this? Mr. Krabs, money.
Pretty much. But it's just like, why? Like, nobody really wants war. Nobody wants that. I get,
however,
like,
the ones at the tops do.
Exactly, and just like there was a saying that involved like young men die so that the old people can hand off money or some shit. Old men die, or young men die just for old men to falsify stories or some shit. I can't remember the quote. I just know it's like young men die just for old men something. Somebody can probably quote it down below. They should know what I'm talking about. It's been there. Oh,
So
speaking of 9mm and 45, I have bullet casings.
right on.
9mm, 45. Guess what? I can fit the 9mm in the 45 casing. Excuse me. Beer burp.
Yeah, let me grab my
Don't make yourself
36.
too far. Don't make yourself too far down, Leon.
Oh,
You gotta make it to the end.
I'm gonna make myself.
36 caliber ball ammunition.
Hey, you
All
know what I
lead.
could do? You know what I should do? Make you some more.
I mean, you have a bunch of lead you can melt down.
Pretty sure I do.
You have a 36 caliber ball sized crimper.
Probably.
You do.
Probably somewhere in here. I have a bunch of shit for gunsmithing and shit, so it's somewhere.
For black powder, I doubt it.
That workbench that was in my old
You
room. I got a bunch of tools up there. I gotta figure out where it's at.
Like, this is Leon we're talking about here. This man was still full of surprises and still randomly will pull out shit anytime I visit him. Be like, oh yeah, did I ever show you this? I'm like, no. I've known you for a year. No, of course not.
Well,
I don't know if you have anything black powder in your arsenal.
I might have to look. If not, I could probably ask my stepdad because he also has a bunch of shit too.
Yeah. Right on.
I do need now what I do need is a bullet making machine. And once I have that, if you need, like I said for you, if you need your 9mm casings restocked, I just have to get the primer and black powder for it and of course your bullet shells and casings. But
Right.
other than that, yeah.
Right on.
And I can do it to you for free, but anybody else that's not a part of the team and shit, I'm just gonna charge them. I'll charge them half of what a box would be cost, you know, because it's easy profit and it works.
You just have to figure out a good metal resource that you can easily get your hands on.
Well, the thing is not so much metal resource. Like if they bring me their casings, I can refill them.
Yeah, I get that, but where are you going to get the bullets, the projectiles from?
Oh, I can get those online.
I get that, but like a good steady source that
Oh,
is
I got
reasonably
three.
priced.
I got 3 different ones that I can get. I can get an entire box for like $10
Right on.
for 100 rounds for 9.
Because I know Bass Pro over there on, I think it's just past Tempe Market.
Yeah, the 202, and I know which one you're talking about. The one off the 202, and
Yeah, the gun shop up there actually has ammunition, like actual projectile head casings,
Yep.
casings, primers.
You
all
know,
that
I almost
stuff.
bought a musket over there, a 50 cal musket.
Right on.
I wanted to buy one just because I was like, this shit's cool. I want it.
I know. I need to buy percussion caps for this revolver, so I can actually fire it. Because otherwise, it's just inert and does nothing. Because I can load each of these chambers with black powder, wadding, and a bullet, and it
Yeah,
won't
that's
do
basically
anything.
back from like the cavalry days.
18 something. I think it was like 1861.
Yeah, probably 1862.
I think this is a Colt Navy 1861.
Yep, it's definitely a fucking Colt, that's for sure.
It's by Philippe Pieta. They do reproductions. This is an antique, otherwise I wouldn't be able to shoot it.
Right.
Oh, it says... What does it say? Engaged the 16th of May, 1843.
Oh, that's older.
It's pretty nice. I definitely like the open top frame revolvers like this. I just love the old style look to them. I also love the hexagonal shaped barrel.
Right. I mean, that was like when they finally started putting in the spiral in there, wasn't it? Or was that before?
They've had the rifling in rifles even back in like even the 1770s.
No, I think it was like 1750 or 1760 is when they started putting in the little graves on the inside to make
rifling.
the whole thing spiral and shit.
Yeah, the rifling. I think that was like, it's somewhere in the late 1700s. I know that because there were recorded moments where certain people were a lot more accurate than other soldiers, and they later found out that those guys had rifled barrels and whatnot. It wasn't a very popular thing because it was very expensive to do because you had to do it by hand, which,
right.
I mean, that's like a skill that craftsmen can charge out the ass for. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it wasn't until like you started having mass production in the industry age of the 1800s that you started to see it more common. And I think conversions done on Springfields, like they were black powder rifles and stuff like that, but they actually had rifling. They became known as Springfield 1886s, and they had trapdoor conversion kits done with actual black powder cartridges working for them. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, fucking. Excuse me.
I know. I want to get 2 of every single one of the old style revolvers like these.
So you shoot both of them.
Well, so I can keep one original black powder style, and then I can get a conversion kit because Filippietta also sells a conversion cylinder for these. That
right.
The back half of this is removable, and you take the gun apart, you pull the cylinder out, and you can take the back off, and then you can insert actual black powder cartridges in, and then fire it like an actual cartridge revolver.
Yeah, and then you can be like, you can be going around and going, "You a cowboy!"
yeah, there you go. But no, it's definitely a classic, and this was like $350. So, and my AK-12, airsoft fake ass AK-12, $450. And this is an actual firearm. This can fucking kill someone. This can put a fucking fist-sized hole into someone's back.
Well, yeah.
So
it's pretty much like a 50. It's a nice precision point on the inside, but then it blows up in the back. It's pretty much
it's just lead based with no jacketing, so when it impacts, it fucking splinters instantly, and it's just a devastating effect.
Imagine a home invader coming in and you're like, "Oh, gotta load it."
Yeah, there I go. Yeah, this is definitely my home defense weapon, not the AK sitting next to me. Or
you're like, you know what? I'm gonna send some 7.62 through the wall real quick.
I'm surrounded by brick, dude. I'm not gonna be hitting anyone but the bad guy. But yeah,
makes me wonder how much breakage I can get through with my 45 caliber rounds.
You could probably crack a cinder block in half with it, but then I bet the stopping power of the 45 is going to stop pretty soon after that.
It probably also depends also on the rounds too, because like if I get an FMJ, it'll probably go through enough to do a little bit, but it also could probably lose its accuracy.
Oh, of course.
Because it's pretty much bouncing around as it goes in there.
Well, check this out too. Have you ever heard of bush rifles?
Yep.
You know why they're called that? Can you explain?
Nope. Actually, nope.
So, bush guns or brush guns is what the more common term is. It's a rifle caliber projectile designed to be heavy in weight and low in powder charge, in order to have the velocity necessary and the weight necessary to push through brambles, bush leaves, and bushes entirely to make it to its target safely without losing trajectory.
Right.
If you take a 5.56 versus like 45-70 government, obviously there's a huge difference in the ballistics between the two cartridges. However, one's denser and heavier, which is the 45-70. If you shoot through like several bushes with it, I can guarantee you that 45-70 is going to be coming out a lot more accurately than that 5.56 would be.
Right.
Because the faster something's moving against a opposing force, like bushes and branches and stuff like that, the harder those bushes and branches and leaves are going to be impacting and resisting against that force.
Right.
So like, just like if you were to fall out of a plane and hit water, it's going to feel like you're hitting concrete rather than water. Yep. It's the same concept.
Have you ever heard of RIP rounds?
Yeah, I've heard of rip rounds, yeah. Okay. It's like it's like a brutal hollow point basically that breaks apart.
So I'll explain this one to the podcast people. So think of a hollow point like this, right? It's clear enough. Yeah, clear enough, whatever. So think of a hollow point like that, alright? Now, add a slug round, a little slug ball into the center of that. Now, hollow points disperse into the body like shrapnel, and the more you move, the more it tears tissues and everything like that. With RIP rounds, as soon as it makes impact, it opens up like a lotus, hitting everything. Doctors actually nicknamed it the RIP round. And the reason for it being is because as soon as an ambulance gets to you, you're already dead.
One of the things that what is it? It's basically like hollow point and flechette had a baby.
Yeah.
That would be what rip rounds are.
Yeah.
Because it's like if you look at the side of a bullet, it's obviously a solid little cone-shaped head. Hollow points, if you look down the center of them, they have like a scoop cut out in the center of it to basically make it mushroom out as soon as it makes impact with the body, doing as much damage as it can on the inside.
I will.
Rip rounds are hollow pointed just like it. However, they have grooves cut along the outside wall of the projectile head, so that they break apart and fragment, like flechette would, like a bunch of needles into the body, and just start slicing and cutting everything in their path.
Now, to add on top of that, I would be advised not to really... You can get them, but I advise not to use them if it's in public places, because that slug does continue and you might hit somebody else.
Same goes for any caliber. I would just say be responsible. As a gun owner, even concealed carry, you are responsible for yourself.
Know your environment. Know whether or not that it is okay to do it or not okay to do it. Because if you have people around you, especially if they're within that line of engagement, not only are you dropping that person in front of you, but you also have a high chance of hitting that person behind them. Whether it's hollow point or not, hollow points can still fully go through at a close range. As much as they say they stop, they can still go through.
Yep. And it's just be responsible out there. If you're curious about getting into the gun community and stuff, take the necessary steps to learn.
Yep, and if you have questions about firearms and stuff like that, feel free to comment down below this, and we can answer this on another podcast, on the next one or the one after that or whatever.
I also wouldn't get wrapped up into the whole, like, this gun's better than this gun, this gun's better than... Just get the gun you enjoy, what you feel you can handle, and
Depending
enjoy
on the
it.
brand.
Exactly.
That's technically true.
Everyone get high points.
Listen, it's the best handgun you can find on the market. No, quiet Leon, quiet fake news. Your fake news.
Alright,
Listen.
High Point is the best gun ever.
High Point is amazing. I would swear by it. Being able to rack the gun in one hand is absolutely, oh my gosh, it's flawless. It's flawless.
Okay, so we're talking about like people purchasing firearms.
Oh my gosh, that...
Don't worry, boys, I just made you both famous.
Oh, that was an amazing impression, holy shit. Oh my gosh, that was funny. Wow.
I was like, depending on the
Yeah.
and then also Trump.
Holy moly.
I've definitely heard better Trump impressions by far, but I am proud of my Trump.
China.
Flying China.
Let me tell you guys something about China. You couldn't get a high point in China. I walked across their border, and I went up north to North Korea. It's just China. I went in there by myself. All I had was a high point, and I showed it to Kim, and I was like, Kim, I don't need the entire U.S. government to stop you. I can stop you right here and now with just one hand and this high point.
Like at all.
And he canceled his nuclear arms deal with China. It was amazing. It was perfect.
I want you to know you have to listen to this end of this podcast episode when it comes out, because you have to hear it on our end how it sounds, because it sounds spot on.
Right on.
Yeah, that shit's funny though.
I just probably made Jader crash. He was laughing his ass off in his car. Yeah, we invited him in here, and he's not saying anything. What gives?
It's probably because he's driving.
He's
I
on
was
the
being
road.
quiet.
I know.
How dare you be quiet? We're gonna clap your cheeks now. Spread them, boy.
I mean, hey, if we're gonna do that, thanks for the invite. I'll be right down.
He's got a long drive.
Just totally random tangent, but as of today, there are 19,274 comments left on the bill.
Good. Everyone, cordially place your own reasons why this bill should not be passed.
I cursed out the bill.
Be nice about it, obviously, because if they're just not going to take that comment if you're just saying, F the government, F the government, they're not going to take that. It needs to be...
I did more than just say fuck the government.
I believe that, but I'm saying that there needs to be logical sense in the comment. All right.
I did. I said what I said was I basically said how illegal it was with what they did by slipping it under the rug, and on top of that, how it was stupid of them to make it a certificate because of the fact that it's a fake gun and it's non-lethal and it hasn't done any damage to anybody on death-wise versus a live firearm. And that the government should also go fuck themselves.
Basically.
Yeah, exactly. This is less regulated now than an airsoft gun.
Yeah, pretty much. This is also less regulated now than an airsoft gun too.
It's easier.
I mean, in Arizona at least.
Yeah, well, Arizona's gonna love their guns anyways, and
Right.
and not only that, but as much as this shit's gonna be around federally, I think Cali was the one that started this. California, I think California is the one that started this because of the fact that
If I may chime in,
it's a bunch of blue-haired bitches.
I live in Illinois.
Careful, you might offend your California viewers.
What was that, Jader?
Sorry, I was going to say, if I may chime in, I live in Illinois. Illinois is by far one of the worst states to get a firearm in. I have to go register to get a FOID card to register to get a gun. And then I have to do that every year.
That is so fucking stupid.
I have a state ID and I cannot buy a firearm right now.
So
yeah,
what I'm hearing is
in my bank account. I cannot go get a gun.
So what I'm hearing is you're gonna move down to Arizona, so then you have
used to live here.
So then you can.
I used to live there, and I'm thinking of coming back.
Yeah,
I was gonna say
why'd you leave?
Yeah, why the fuck did you leave?
Family reasons. I had to move.
Right.
Had family up here, so.
That's the only excuse.
I can make that an exception.
But I travel the road now, so I'm probably gonna try and move back down there.
Do it anyways.
Right on.
Don't wait. Just do it anyways. But
don't worry. Once he gets down here, he's gonna come play with us. Don't worry.
That's good.
Second Amendment, by the way.
You're talking toys right now, and I really want to play with toys.
What did I do?
Well, B is getting her
responsibly, but toys.
But
Jared, who said we were responsible here? No, I'm kidding.
I mean, if we're gonna play that card, I mean, hey, you want to go around the range?
Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy.
Of course I want to go to the range.
Hi, buddy.
Run out on the
purring.
range.
He's purring.
Yeah, we're gonna go out onto the range while it's being shot at. Yeah, exactly. See, make it interesting and spicy.
Your whisker went into my mouth.
Yeah, see, you're not fighting it.
That.
We can have the Brandon Herrera airsoft experience. Airsoft. But yeah, I mean,
this is my battle buddy. This is my new battle buddy.
Mr. Whiskers.
Also, I don't know why, but I can't see either of the other two. I can see Dirtman, but I can't see the other two.
You probably need to tap on their cameras and open them individually really quick, and then
I'm sorry, baby.
Out.
How do I open up individual? It's not letting
Oh, you wanna know how bright this light is?
Alexa, turn off Leon's room.
I see.
Okay.
Double tap on each of their cameras.
Uh-oh.
Well, he poofed. So this is my tack light.
Alexa, turn on Leon's room.
Oh, there we go. Now I can see you guys.
Right on, cool.
Anyways, B is getting a gas blowback as her first gun for airsoft. That won't hopefully need to be having a certificate for.
Yeah.
Well, you would need to get a certificate too.
I can't
Yeah,
even
I would have
believe-
to get a certificate for all of my shit. But as to what it seems like, it won't be passed if there's over 19,000 vetoes going on.
Well,
I doubt it.
I hope not.
Well,
but,
here's the
you know,
thing. Here's the
government
thing.
really-
Here's the thing. It's not the Republican government that wants to do this. It's the Democratic government that wants to do this because they think any kind of gun, no matter what, is so bad. Like, no, these motherfuckers don't even understand how firearms work. Let alone fake ones. And in all honesty, I encourage people to come fucking play this sport because of the fact that if they've never shot a gun before, it teaches them fire safety. It teaches them that this is your selector switch. And where should you have your finger? Not on the fucking trigger. Unless you're in the field and you're getting ready to shoot.
Yep.
And it teaches
always
them,
keep your booger hooker off the trigger until you're ready to take a life.
Like people that are, people that are actually that, deal with firearms on a real basis on a day-to-day thing, like myself and you guys. We know that we don't need the safety because this is our safety right here. We know our placement for it. When it comes to new people that don't know, here's a quick lesson. Have your finger Have your finger right here on the guard, right? And if you're ready to engage, move it here and then move it here. And guess what? Then you can squeeze. But wait till you have full visual.
Your finger should never be inside or by the trigger whatsoever until you're ready to fire.
Yep. Now,
It should
if
be
you're
outside that guard at all times.
if you're like myself or the other two here, we have it always like this, but we have it nice and light on it because of the fact that we have trigger control. We know what we're doing.
Especially in the field. Hold on. Disclaimer. In the field of airsoft.
Obviously.
Our fingers are on the
Obviously, but if it comes like if we come across friendlies in the airsoft field and stuff like that too, like you'll see like either like with me, I'll point my gun up, or I'll point it down to keep it out of the way, and I'll also have my finger off the trigger because my friendly is right there, and it's faster just to quickly do this. Now, if you want to do it to where you can flip it between your safe and your fire for your semi, feel free to do that. Find a way that works for you.
As long as you remain safe, do what feels comfortable to you.
Safety is a big priority.
Responsibility of gun ownership is an utmost high priority if you ever involve yourself with any kind of firearm. The responsibility of that gun's safety falls upon the wielder. As soon as, like, if Coker and I were standing next to each other and I handed him this revolver, I would hand it to him, finger off the trigger, hammer up, obviously, and no round chambered. Obviously, this is a revolver, so the rounds are individual.
It's just like this. So this is what I do with people that want to like see my 45. I already took the mag out, right? Like I always say I do. And then what I do is I take my hand over the slide, and I have it pointed away from people. I have it pointed at the ground, and I have it where my hand is over the slide ejector for the bullet to come out, so I can catch it. And then after that, I leave it as is like this, and I go here. I just do it like this. I go here. Look at it. Both these guys, Dirt and Audi, aka Alec, the guy that is wearing the Russian shit. I've handed it to him like that before. They know I'm very strict on gun safety.
And if any savvy audience member notices, I do have someone sitting to my right, and you can go back to this entire video, play back every moment I've ever handled a firearm. Every single firearm is facing this way.
And that's also another thing. And here's the biggest thing. A gun rule 101. Treat every gun, no matter fake or real, as if it's loaded.
I've been pointing mine out towards my window because my roommate's across the wall right over here towards my direction. So even though he's adjacent to me and mostly in front of me, I have never had it to this direction. It's always been this way. I'm not gonna argue.
And Leon next to me here, I mean, I don't really just pop him right here.
Well, what's funny is on my point of view, you're actually down here in this angle next to me.
Oh, am I? All right, here.
Coker's right here next to me.
All right, here, I'll take care of Coker.
Wait, no, you have to go a little bit more that way if you want.
Yeah, I'm not pointing that way.
Hold on.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and back to what I was saying is responsibility is mine until I hand it to Coker, and then now he is responsible for that gun and that gun's safety and the safety of everyone else around him as he handles that gun.
Yep.
It's not because I own the gun, now I'm responsible for it after he's holding it and he's operating it. That doesn't work like that. Just like if I gave a psychopath a kitchen knife, I'm not responsible for that kitchen knife anymore. That psychopath is who's going to go out and stab a bunch of people. You know what I mean?
The only downfall, though, is if it's in your name.
The kitchen knife in my name?
No, I'm talking about firearm-wise.
Well, in firearm-wise, the only reason you have a gun registered to you, like a sidearm or something like that, is for like police record. Like if they own
this. If somebody got caught with it.
Yeah, if somebody stole your gun, you have a way of reporting it stolen. They have all the information needed, and they can get it back to you. That's basically what it should be for.
And I will say this too, I'm very good at firearms training, so if anybody needs firearms training, feel free to comment down below or even hit me up on my Instagram or join my Discord and hit me up there in a personal message. I will train you on every single thing about a firearm, whether it's a handgun or if it's a rifle, like that.
Take my AK apart, Leon. Take it apart. Show me how you take it apart.
Okay, remove the top.
What was that? All right, remove this. Right here. Is this the first part? Do I remove this?
Yeah.
All right.
What's the next step? To clean it? Then you pull the slide back.
How do I pull this slide?
Yeah,
pull it back like this?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. I got to take it off the safety.
There you go. All
right. I pulled it back. Now what?
Should be able to pull it out.
Nope.
Oh, wait. No. It's a fucking AK. Sorry. My mistake.
What gave it away? I don't know.
Gee, I don't know.
We're dealing with Drunk Leon.
What's the next step?
Oh god, it's fucking AK. I fucking hate AKs. Don't you bring that shit over.
It's so simple. You wanna see what makes it easy to take apart?
Hold on.
Do this.
It's that spring, isn't it?
It's the button that pushes the dust cover.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
You just push it forward off its rails,
and
then you take the spring out.
See, and then I don't fuck with AKs as much as you do. If you want AK expertise, go to him. If you want an M4 platform or a SMG platform base, go to me.
Alec, just an example. With you having that bolt out, completely renders the gun.
Oh yeah, show them that.
Yeah, inoperable. Yeah. So I took the spring out of the AK, the back of the AK, right?
An actual AK.
Now,
this is the wrist one.
Now you just noticed that it accidentally slid back towards me because I was adjusting my grip on the gun, but. This slide is now completely useless. There's nothing keeping this thing from staying in the gun. So all I need to do is just pull it back, and guess what? Now the gun is completely inoperable. It's not going to chamber. It's not going to fire. It's not going to do anything except sit here and collect dust until I put it back together and give it the construction it needs to chamber the next round, prime the next round, and fire it.
Yep.
And it's not even that hard to get into. I learned how to take this AK apart literally by looking at it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
this AK is so simple.
I will say this. Yeah, I was about to say this. AK is more simple than an AR platform just because of the fact that their shit is literally 2 to 3 pieces versus an AR platform where you have to do this and that, you gotta fold this in half and shit like that.
The only thing that I will tell people if they are gonna get into AKs over ARs,
oh god,
there's a couple of things. Is the accessibility of parts in the States is a lot harder to get your hands on them for a reasonable price, and most, if not all AKs, if you're going to do some serious modification to like the receiver or the grips or anything like that, you got to make sure you get the very specific part for the built AK you're going to be modifying. And some AKs, like my dad has an RPK, some parts on it are actually factory pressed fit together, meaning you need like machinery and stuff or a lot of knowledge on handling tools and hammers and stuff like that to safely remove those kinds of parts.
Now, when it comes to like an AR platform, because gas blowbacks are pretty fucking spot on with mimicking everything. So with AR platforms, they're a little bit more longer than an AK. You have to press this little button here. It's very hard to see. Hold on. Here we go. That one right there, it's going to be where my thumb is on this side. Right here. Right there. There we go. You gotta press that in. It pulls this little nub out. Pull this fucking nub out. And then after that, What the fuck is going on with it now? It don't look up. Oh, there we go. I didn't pull it out hard enough. And then it bends, and then you have to pull this out, and yeah, pretty much that's it for it. If you're gonna clean an actual one.
M4s and M4 style platforms look more complicated than AKs, but every single gun is built to be able to be field stripped in a couple of easy parts.
Yep, especially when it comes to cleaning. Speaking of cleaning, I should probably clean my gas bowl back in and send some gun oil down the tube.
But I mean,
gun lube.
It's when it comes to like going into the gun community, getting started into the gun community. Ingrain yourself in the culture of the people who participated in it first, I would say. Like, start doing your research on firearms, start learning about the ones you're interested in. Start surrounding yourself with people from the gun community, because honestly, the gun community is probably some of the most responsible people on the face of the planet.
Yeah,
they know how really friendly as well.
Yep.
Most of them, yeah, exactly.
You'll get some that are toxic as hell, but you'll get a lot of them that are very
just like anywhere.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's literally the entire world.
but like we said, be comfortable with what you're shooting with.
Yep, and always enjoy it and have fun too.
When you go to a gun store,
months before my dad and I actually obtained our handguns in the first place. Literal months. Like, we had been doing research. My dad was deciding what Glock he wanted to get. I was on the fence about whether or not I was trying to get myself an AR or just a rifle, not
a rifle based. Yeah, I know.
A rifle based, whether that be AK or AR or something like that, or a pistol.
I like it. It sounds like, why didn't you get the AK? I already saw it on his face. He was like, why didn't you get the AK?
This was my first gun purchase, and I was looking for something that I could actually
you want something with home defense / you can go everywhere with, versus something that you can only take every once in a while. I mean, you could carry your rifle. Like, this is okay. So this is one thing
it gets iffy. It gets even iffier.
No. Let me put it this way. I hate people that do this, because I've seen some videos of what they're doing wrong, which is why cops speculate and look. They're ones that are irresponsible by where they're exercising their gun rights, but they do it irresponsibly by leaving the rifle mag in the rifle with it chambered and walking around with it. And then now and that indicates that they're looking for trouble. And that's why the cops will come up and question them, versus like somebody like myself, where I'll chamber around, put the mag out, put it away, and then go on about my business.
And here's the thing too, is you gotta also be reasonable. Like, are you gonna get in full kit like I've seen in some videos and stroll around the park wielding your AR-15 with the mag in and all this stuff? I mean, you're exercising your right, but you're also being highly irresponsible about it.
Like, if you're in a full kit and you have the mag out, like, they'll look at you, but they'll continue on about their business. And the reason why I say this is because every Halloween I do this for the sake of my stepsister who passed many years ago. Every Halloween, I load up my riding bag with a bunch of candy, and I get in my full gear, even the kit and everything. And last year, when I was walking around the neighborhood that's behind my complex, a Tempe police officer strolled by, looked, she smiled, she continued on about her business. Why? Because I didn't have the fucking mag inside the gun to make it look real as possible.
I would say it's also an officer by officer basis too, because some officers are obviously more reasonable than others.
Yeah.
And some are just.
But the thing is too is about this state. This state is very open about any kind of firearms, because this is why I love Arizona. It's a very big gun state. It's more bigger than Texas itself, and like Arizona doesn't get enough recognition for it because of the fact that it's big. We're more. Let's put it this way.
Texas is louder than Arizona.
Yeah, well, and also when people think of Texas, they think of cowboys type of thing, versus over here when we're literally the Wild West.
Yeah.
We literally have a stand your ground law here.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, if you're dealing with a trespasser, you're allowed to use your firearm against that trespasser, whether or not you can't see if they're armed or not, because they trespassed into your property.
Which is how it should be.
Yep. In Texas, they didn't stop having a notion of CCW. Like, they made it a law where you had to have a CCW until they decided to take it down, like, 2017, 2018, when they realized that they kind of fucked up on that. Arizona only made it an option, like an optional thing, back in 2016. They're like,
We had it forever.
Well, the thing is, like, they were debating on wanting to make it a law, but then they were like, you know what? We'll make it optional. Here you go.
Yeah, since Arizona's inception, we were always an open carry and concealed carry state.
Mm-hmm.
We never faltered on that at all at any point. Texas only recently signed into law the open carry policy.
Yep, because of the fact that they think they're bigger and better.
It's okay, Texas. We'll just pat you on the head and send you on your way to go do a war.
Right.
We love you guys as cousins, but also like.
I wouldn't fuck them.
No, you wouldn't.
But yeah, right on.
Texas.
Yeah, I know.
And then you got Cali, the state Cali. That's just the retarded cousin of them all. But anyways, moving on from that. I think we're pretty good here about talking about firearms and everything on this podcast. As much as we would love to banter on more and more about it, we probably should save that for more of the live podcast that we'll eventually do.
Point is, this bill is stupid. It should not exist, and the government can suck all our dicks.
Exactly. The government's a fucking trashy ass place, anyways. And I'm supposed to stream a game here pretty soon.
Okay, right on, man.
Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Hopefully you're, using the gun safety, and hopefully you're using those safety tips as what we told you, and the difference between airsoft and real steel. And like I said, if you ever want help or want that, personal training of using a firearm or showing how to use a firearm of some sort, I am more than welcome to be open to have you hit me up on Discord and stuff. If it's an AK platform, I'll send you over to this guy down here. He knows more about the AK platforms. I don't care for AK platforms, so I just know that after their barrels overheat, they're inaccurate as shit. Anyways. Other than that, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for being responsible for any kind of use of fake or real firearms. And we will end it here. So goodbye. I'm going to go get me another beer.
This man is going to be so drunk.
I haven't hit that yet.
He's drunk already.
No,
He's drunk
I'm
already.
fucking buzzed, boy. I'm gonna get more buzz, and then after that, I'm gonna be an astronaut. I'm gonna be Buzz Lightyear.
He's too